The gravel crunched beneath Marcus's boots as he made his way up the familiar mountain trail. 20 years of hiking the same path had worn a predictable rhythm into his steps, until today. The air shifted, grew thicker, more humid. A strange metallic taste filled his mouth, and the world began to ripple like heat waves off summer asphalt. When his vision cleared, the trail had vanished. The sparse pines and scrub brush were replaced by towering cycads and giant ferns that stretched endlessly in every direction. The familiar chirping of mountain chickadees gave way to otherworldly shrieks echoing through the prehistoric forest. "This isn't possible," Marcus whispered, his voice trembling. The air was different, richer in oxygen, he guessed, making him feel slightly lightheaded. His hiking boots sank into soft, wet earth that hadn't seen a human footprint in 65 million years. A shadow passed overhead, and Marcus instinctively dove under the spreading leaves of a giant fern. Through gaps in the fronds, he watched as a Trinodon glided by, its leathery wings spanning wider than his car. Its long, toothless beak sliced through the humid air as it banked and disappeared into the misty canopy. The ground trembled. At first, Marcus thought it was another temporal shift, but the rhythmic impacts grew stronger. Boom, 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 through the dense foliage. He caught glimpses of muscled legs the size of tree trunks, ending in massive three-toed feet. His heart nearly stopped as a Tyrannosaurus Rex emerged into a small clearing, its scaled head swiveling as it scented the air. Marcus held his breath, pressing himself into the wet earth. The predator's eyes, the size of dinner plates, swept past his hiding spot. One wrong move, one snapped twig, and he'd become prehistory's first human casualty. The T-Rex moved on, each footstep leaving pools of water trembling in their wake. Marcus waited until the impacts faded before letting out his breath. The metallic taste returned to his mouth, and the world began to ripple once again. When everything stabilized, he found himself back on the familiar trail, with only wet mud on his hiking clothes as evidence of his journey. Above him, a mountain chickadee trilled its familiar song, a sound that had never been more welcome to his ears. Marcus sat down hard on a trail-side boulder, his legs shaking. He pulled out his trail journal, knowing that no one would ever believe what he wrote. But he had to record it, had to try to capture what it felt like to stand in a world where humans were never meant to exist, if only for a few precious minutes.